What up? What up? What up? Listen, I am excited that we are back in the building again, Taj. What's cracking? What's up?
Let's do this. I look forward to these every single week. And we have been getting such great feedback. I'm like, yeah, the people
Yeah.
are loving this. And so I'm excited every week.
Yeah,
Every
man.
week.
So what's going on over there, man? What's going on over in the Perry's house? You know what? Y'all need y'all own YouTube show. Like y'all own YouTube show. Like I know if the people was able to get a little sneak peek of what's cracking up in there, I know that they would go ham.
You know what? You like the fifth person this week who has told us that. And let me tell you something. We decided to keep them home from the remainder of the year, so I'm gonna be
Oh,
virtual schooling, homeschooling, whatever, for a couple of more months. They were supposed to return Monday, and I'm just not ready. But I was like, what have I got myself into? So
yeah, buddy.
here
Yeah,
we are.
buddy. Yeah,
Here we
buddy.
are.
So
But I
mine,
know you feel me.
yeah. So mine actually in their school district, they go. So Monday through Thursday, they in school like all day. Like my oldest, she's only half day. The
Okay.
middle school, she's like part of the day. Levi, he all day. You know what I mean? So
So
it's
you ain't got
quiet.
no kids in the house.
Yo, listen,
Look.
listen, 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 listen. It gives us so many opportunities, and wifey and I both work home, so it gives us
Oh,
so
that's fire.
you know. See, the only thing is my niece is here from Jersey, right? So
Okay.
sometimes
Okay.
she can block, but she about to go home for about a good week. So
Oh yeah.
come on, I don't know when the last time we were able to play hide and seek.
Let's
All right,
go.
see.
No, listen. My nails are so look at this. Look. This is what having five kids at home all day. I ain't even got time to take care of my nails. Look, this
I'm gonna
so
have to
I'm
talk to my
jealous of you and Leah.
man. I'm gonna have to talk to my boy Verge and tell him to take a day off. Give me stay home
Man.
with the kids so you can go ahead and do your thing, man.
God.
Yo,
Gosh.
I already know, man. I already know. So listen, man, I'm excited about the topic today.
I am
I
too.
am, man. Let's there's a lot going on, right? With 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 the world right now.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I look forward to this because it allows me to just to lay back and get away from a lot of the noise, especially
Yeah,
with
man.
our topics, right? Our topics are fun, and it's about
Yep.
relationships and
Yep.
engagement with family and all that good stuff. So this
Love and
is,
yes.
what I mean. So it gives us an
Yes.
opportunity to escape at least just for a little bit, man. So and give
Yep.
our listeners um the opportunity to hear some fun vibes and hear about love and what does he mean when he say this and what does she mean when she
Mhm.
say those things. So yeah,
Yep.
man, so I look forward to this. So today, man, we're gonna crack open a new topic, and I'm excited, man. And you mentioned to me that one of your girls hit you up was just like, yo, how did you know that Big Burge? Well, she didn't call him Big Burge. I hope she didn't call him Big
I
Burge.
call him Big Bird.
Yeah. I love it, man. So, like, yo, so Taj, man, let's talk about that, right? So, like,
Yeah.
how did you know? And, I'm going to talk about it too, but, let's help the people that's had this real conversation and be candid. Like, how do you know um, when you with the right person? And
Yeah.
that's
The
not
one.
always easy. Yeah, the one. Like
Yep.
so for you, how did you know that Virgil was that person?
For a few different reasons, but I would say the main ones that really, really stick out is he was so consistent. Um, and and what I mean by that is like he would call and it wouldn't be days in between the next time we called. Like, and Virgil and I started dating very, very young. I think I've mentioned that before. And so I would get off the school bus and I would make it in the house, and the phone would ring like clockwork at 4:10, and I knew it was him checking to see if I made it off the bus. Now, of course, I was young at that time, so I wasn't thinking about was he the one, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was just the consistency of it, and it continued on into our adulthood of the relationship. Just him just being consistent, and me never having to guess how he felt about me. He always made it clear. I mean, from our, I don't know, our third date, I used to tell him like, "You was crazy," but he told me on our third date, "You're gonna be my wife," and I'm like, "Okay," but I mean, he always, everything he has always told me, he has always followed through on it.
I
And
like
so
that.
it's something to be said about it, because if you sitting around guessing, how does he feel about me? Is he the one? I never had to do that, because he always showed me. He didn't just tell me; he showed me.
Well, let
And
me ask you
so,
this. So let's go back for a second, right? So that's
mhm,
cool that he was the one. But how did you know? And I don't even know, right? So this is not scripted. So I don't know how you're gonna respond to this.
right.
But how did you know that other Joker wasn't the one?
Oh, that's good. So I would say just how I felt when I was around Virgil, I was just me. I was Natasha. I wasn't trying to eat cute. Um, if he had to stop by the house real quick, I wasn't like, oh my goodness, let me get my bonnet off. I didn't mind if he saw me in my bonnet, and I was just like, I'm like legit, I'm comfortable around this dude. Like, I can be me, and I
Yeah.
feel like he can accept me for who I am. And I will say I'm a lot to deal with. I can admit. I can be a lot.
Uh
I'm very opinionated. I know that.
Not
And
you really? No, I'm serious, really. I'm just saying, but you don't come across that way.
I can be. I can be. I'm let's say it nicer. I'm passionate when I believe in something. That's
Ooh.
a nicer way to put it.
Well, let's see.
And
I
he
think
can
I
deal
think
with
my
me.
wife. I think my wife said. See, she doesn't say I'm opinionated, but she says I'm passionate about what I believe in. I'm very,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I can say that, and it's funny that you say that, like when you mention that, right? My wife and I, we just had the talk yesterday because
Hmm.
we had an intense fellowship, right? I got
Okay.
that from my boy Words. We had an intense fellowship, right?
Okay.
And one of my things is that what I'm working on and what I've gotten better at is not shutting down when we have an intense fellowship, right?
Hmm.
Because that
Hmm.
I just don't like, conflict, the whole nine.
Yep.
But in our reconciliation part of coming out of that moment, um, she just said, Sean, you get emphatic about your statement or your stance,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Um,
Uh-huh.
and and I'm like, you know what? And I realize is that my wife is different than me, right? From this, and we all know that we different, but my wife is like some of you out there, and I don't know if it's a female thing
Hmm.
or it was just, when we look at the disc assessment, that C in her or whatever.
Hmm.
But where she can keep, where she can remember records, she can
Yeah,
remember
that's
moments.
me. Yeah,
Me,
that's me.
yo, I don't
That's
remember, right?
Virgil.
So I
That's
can't
Virgil.
bring receipts. It's like, well, when? I don't have the
Yeah,
receipts. I'm not
yeah, that's
saying like,
Virgil.
well, on this date and on that date,
Yeah, yeah,
I just don't keep the receipts.
yeah, that's
Whereas
us.
her,
Yep.
she keep
Oh, me
receipts.
too. I'm like on June 12th at
Yeah,
3:05 p.m. and you was wearing
yo,
that red shirt. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
you know what I
And
mean?
it's
So,
not to be nasty, it's just we can remember the things like that, you
but
know?
that's whack. That's whack. That's whack that you keep receipts. Like I shouldn't.
That's what Virgil said. He think that we keep, like, I'm keeping track of it. So it's like,
Yes.
well, you ain't really get
Yes.
over it if you keeping track of it. And I'm like, no, I just can remember. That's just how I'm set up. I don't forget the things. I've forgiven you. I just haven't forgotten. That's all.
But yo, whatever. You know what I mean? You know, to me it feels like that you guys keep record, right? That you keep
No,
in track or
no.
whatever. Because like us as dudes, you mean what you talking about? Like Virgil is similar to me in that aspect. I'm just not. I'm like, yo, that's wasted brain space. And I am not going to say, well, you know, on this day and that day. I'm just like, yo, it is what it is, right? So I can be emphatic about things. You know, when I have a stance or whatever the case, I can be
Yeah,
emphatic. I can become passionate. You know, and so when my makeup is like, if we go back and forth about 3 times or four
yeah,
times, I'm like, yo, it's a
yeah,
wrap. Like I'm done. I'm good. Like because
yeah,
we're not gonna get to a conclusion. You're,
yeah.
right? We're not going to get to a conclusion of the matter to where we both are happy.
Right.
So that's a part that we still been married, you know, for 19 years. That's an area that we still are growing through.
Yeah. That's
we
funny.
still
Us
we
too.
still
Us
grow
too.
through. So I
Yep.
don't ever want to come
Us
on here
too.
like
Yep.
like I'm perfect and my
Oh,
marriage is
heck
perfect.
no.
You know,
No.
listen, in order if
Mm-mm.
one of my really good friends Rashad said, he said, listen, his, I think it was his pastor or it might even be his, but he said, if let me, he said, if you see a marriage that is blossoming, that is dope, that is fire, I'll show you a marriage that went through hell.
Whew. Heck yeah.
Right?
Heck yeah.
So I
Yeah.
know where my wife and I stand is that we've
Yep.
been through stuff.
Mhm.
We've
Mhm.
been through
Yep.
stuff. And a
Yep.
lot of people don't know what we've been through to have what we have,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because we paid a
Yep.
price to have what we have, and
Yes.
we still are growing through our
Yes.
marriage. And the problem is that when
Uh
you stop
every
growing
day. Every
every
day.
day, when you stop, listen, me, I'm not into that, you know, let's argue and then let's have that passionate makeup sex. That's just not me. I'm like, yo,
It's not
that's too
me either.
much. But I'm telling you, before
Nope.
we got on this podcast, you know, we already reconciled, and I'm sitting up there. I'm like, I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, yo, do I got a couple of minutes? You know what I mean? Yo, listen, you got a text from me, didn't you? You got a text from me that said, yo, I need
You
about
probably was like,
another,
oh, good. She good.
I need about another 20, 30 minutes. I'll hit you back. But then we found out, like, yo, the kids had something, so got interrupted. So I text you back, like, yo, I'm ready. I'm just saying, yo, I'm just keeping it 100. You know what I mean? So the thing
Yeah.
about it, man, is that we're growing through our marriage. We're growing
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
problems, right? We're growing
Yep.
through, you know, challenges. And a lot of times people don't want to grow through it. I
Mm-mm.
mean, and I'm
Mm-mm.
intentional what I'm saying. I'm not saying go through it. I'm saying grow through it.
Grow. Grow.
You have to be
Grow.
intentional about growing through it. And that's
Yep.
how I could speak to how do I know that my wife was the one. And I'll talk about that in a
It's
minute.
that you it's a song that I love, um by Avant, and I always bring it up, and it says, will you love me when it hurts? Because I'm like, when
Ooh,
things is good, hey, it's easy to love you we
man.
all happy and smiling, but what about when things ain't good? Can you still love me then?
Wow.
And that's how I know we have grown, because there were times when we would go through things, and you shut down, and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna talk to you, you ain't talking to me, and it's like, we don't play that no more. We don't play those games. And like you said, we still growing and learning, but that's one thing, and that's big. Can you love me when it hurts? That's what I need to know.
That's important, right? That's important. And you don't know, honestly, like we can sit here and tell you, I can tell you how I knew my wife was the one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you really discover when they are the one. A lot of
Oof.
times it's well after you get married.
After. It is after.
Yeah, but
It is.
honestly, it's like after is where it validates that this was the person that you wanted to be with. Because a lot of times before you get married, before you say I
It's
do,
superficial.
it's a lot of times it's superficial, right? You are in that euphoric stage. Everybody
Hmm.
have their best performance.
Yeah.
Especially like dudes,
Even
they
how I'm
probably.
talking about Virgil calling me all the time and
Yep,
making sure he
yep,
could have had an alarm set. I don't know,
yep,
but that's all. It could be part of the game. You
yep,
running game. We all performing. But look, when
yep,
the curtains close and it's
yeah,
time to get down to business for real,
yes.
yeah, that's
It's
where you learn who
this
people
thing
are.
when you say you do, it's a risk. At the
Yeah.
end of the
Oh
day,
yeah.
it's a risk. It's like, yo, are you when you say you do, you can't have personally, you can't be trying to check the other person's hand. Right,
Right.
because you don't
Right.
know what's in their hand. You
Right.
can't try to see what's in their hand. All you can do is play your hand. Like, what, I'm gonna bring my best to the table, and hopefully my best will bring
Mhm.
out the best in them. That my
Yep.
best
Yep.
will serve and love them
Yep.
through
Yep.
whatever things that they don't have, those little intangibles or whatever the
Yep.
case.
Yep.
But it's important for you to know that the person that you rocking out with is the person for you. I knew my wife was the one. Number one is because I didn't have a desire for any other women.
Yeah. Yeah.
That moment I decided and that I didn't have a desire. Now I saw other women that was pretty, that might have been
Yep.
prettier, had a better
Yep.
body, whatever the case, but
Yep.
they did not I was not drawn to them no
Mhm.
longer.
Mhm.
I saw them,
Yep.
right? But I
Yeah.
didn't have a
Yeah.
desire to like, do a double take. I didn't have a
Mhm.
desire to push up. I'm like, I'm tunnel vision. And she couldn't
Mhm.
believe early on, like I used to sell clothes. Like I used to sell clothes out of the trunk of my car. I was always a hustler. So when I met
Okay.
her, I was selling clothes, right? I go back to New York, I grab stuff out of the buildings and go to Chinatown, whatever, come back and sell stuff and sell product. And I used to go over these women house, like, some of these women were bad. You know what I mean? I used to go over
Yeah.
there, they
Yeah.
trying on clothes, whatever the case, like Jody from uh
That's what I was thinking
yeah,
about. Yeah. Yeah.
like that was me. You know what I mean? And I would
Yeah.
go over there, and a lot of times I bring her with me the whole night, and I was tunnel vision. I'm like, yo, I'm about this bread, about this cake, and she looking at me like, what's up
Yeah.
with you? You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
what's cracking? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Are you? But I'm like, yo, I didn't have a desire or need
Yep.
for any of them. And and these girls and my wife be like, yo, you didn't see her flirting with you? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, you mean because
Yeah.
honestly, it was all about her, and it still is that
Mhm.
way, right? And I'm not
Mhm.
saying I'm perfect. You already heard me. I just told you that we had an intense fellowship, right?
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
very current podcast, right?
Look,
So
I need to write that word down. I like intense fellowship.
yeah, I got it from.
That's
I wish I could say I own it, but I got it from my boy Words Taylor, man. Words Taylor, he coined that boy. He called it intense fellowship. I was like, I like that.
I like that. I like intense fellowship. Sounds way better.
Yeah, it sounds way better, right? And that was
Yeah.
my thing of when I was dating her. You know what I mean? I was just like, okay, I don't have a desire, don't have a
Mhm.
need for any of these other women. It was all about her. I loved her smile. I
Mhm.
just loved everything about her, right? And my
Yeah.
thing is where I check myself, honestly, and she doesn't even know this. We've been together since 2000, and every once in a while when she smile, I look and see if I see the same smile that I saw
Yeah.
when I first saw her for the very first time.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
don't ever want to get to a place where I don't see the beauty that I saw before, regardless of
Yeah.
how much weight, no weight, whatever it
Yep. Yep.
is,
Yep.
right? And then I will look and I'm like, yo, she still got that smile. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Sean, you
Yeah.
still seeing her. right?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Virgil put up a post and said a bunch of stuff. It was for anniversary or birthday, and out of all the things which you just said, he said he still saw me as the girl he met when he was 17 and I was 16, and that's what meant the most because we do as women wonder, do y'all still see us like that? I
Wow,
mean,
I
what
didn't
are
know
you
that.
seeing when you see me? Yeah, and so that's huge. That's huge.
You know, that's funny, man. Leah used to like she'd bring me close and she'd be like, "Look at my eyes," and I know what she was doing. And I guess she saw something where it talks about your eyes if they dilate or get bigger or whatever the case. She would look at my eyes to see if they would change. Because I guess if they get smaller
Oh
or one
wow.
of them, it means that you zeroing in and you are drawn to whatever you're seeing. If it doesn't
Okay.
change, it's just like whatever.
Okay.
So
I'm
she,
trying that tonight.
yeah,
Thanks, Leah.
you ain't right. I don't know if it's scientifically proven or if that's a Leah-ism or if that's really science.
Virgil gonna be in trouble if his
Yeah.
eyes don't dilate. So we doing that tonight.
You're not right, man. You're not right. You're not right. But but that was the thing, man. I just knew that she was the one beforehand when I didn't have a desire for
Mhm.
any other person. And I tell you this story, man. Probably about 2 years ago, we was in Jersey, and somebody bought a book for me. A young lady bought a book for me, and she was hitting
Mhm.
me up on IG, not IG, from she was inboxing me, and we was going back
Okay.
and forth. And she was like, "Yo, my kid's out of town, boom, boom. So I'll be at the crib. You can just swing through." And I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah.
So I got my book, and I'm like, "Yo, Leah, on our way uh, to the spot, I'm gonna go drop this book off." And she like, "Cool." So I go to drop the book out, get out the car, drop the book off, and the young lady is like, "You not coming in?" And I was like,
I
and I'm
remember this
like,
story.
I'm like, like I wasn't planning, I wasn't planning on coming, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But so I was like, all right, cool. I was like, my wife and my son in the car, and she was like, oh, cool, they can come in. So just like that. So you ain't right. So I told you this. Well, I guess the world hears it for the first time.
Yes, keep on.
So
It's
so
good.
listen. So you know what I mean? So I'm like, cool. So I park the car, we go inside. Yo, she got wine, she got wine and she got candles going.
Candles.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. I gave her the book. I'm like, where's the bread? I'm looking for my I'm looking for
Right.
my money,
This
right?
is what I
So
came
that's what
for.
I came for. So we in there, Leah quiet, we talking, chit-chatting. So after maybe about 20, 30 minutes, we catch up. We out. I'm gone. I got my $20. It's in my pocket. We driving off. Leah looking at me like, what was that about? Like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
talking about? What do you mean? What was that about? Like, I just secured a bag for $20. What do you? She was like, you didn't see that? I'm like, no. Like, what are you talking about? She was like, Sean, she didn't know we was coming.
That's
Like,
right.
she had
That's right.
wine, she
She
had
had
candles.
plans.
But I'm like, yo, like Leah was worked up behind it. But I'm like, listen, I didn't care. I didn't even see that. I was so tunnel vision on what I was there for. But yo, your girl was livid at your boy. Livid. But I'm like, listen. I'm like, yo, I'm so focused on you, boo. I'm so
Hmm.
focused on you. Like, the
Y'all don't
world
see it.
knows that, yo, it's all about Leah. All about Leah.
Yeah.
I don't want, listen, homeboy, I don't want your lady. She may be fly, she may be banging, but my thing is, it's not worth it for me to lose all that I have. My dad always
Yep.
say it's better.
Yep.
What do you say? A ram is a ram in the bush. No, it's better to have a ram. It's some old thing, but
Oh,
whatever. It's
uh-huh.
something to the fact. But the grass is not greener on the other side.
Yeah. Never.
Take what
Never.
you have, and I'm like, yo, I'm so satisfied in
Yep.
what I
Yep.
have, that she's
Yep.
everything that I need. right?
Yep.
But it was
Yep.
just funny of how you brought that up, of just like how I was just so tunnel vision and how I am. Like, yo, it's just all about her. I just knew that
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
the one. And when I knew that I didn't have a desire for another woman, I
Mhm.
was straight,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So yeah, man,
Yep.
your girl, she brings that, she still bring it up. She still bring it up. But I'm like,
I
yo, I didn't
love it.
even
I
notice. I'm
love
like, I didn't notice the wine. I didn't, you know, man, I didn't notice the candle. I'm just like, yo, if it was something, I wouldn't have brought your tail with me. Like if I wanted to sneak.
We be paying attention. And Virgil, a couple of years ago, he was doing some personal training, and so he was
Uh
hitting up a
oh.
few people that he knew was working out. And so this one girl, who
One,
shall remain
two,
nameless,
three, four,
yeah,
five.
yeah,
Could you
and
stretch me?
look, yeah, I got a cramp. And so she inboxed him and says, "Do you do personal training at the house?" And I was like, well, "Excuse me?" Yeah. But he was so, and he
He was
was
like,
kind of
yeah.
oblivious. Like he was like, "Well, I would prefer the gym, but I mean, you can maybe we can work out something where you come to my house, because I got my wife and kids at the house." And we ain't hear from her again. And I'm like,
Word.
"So you do realize what that was, right?" "Well,
No.
I don't know. I mean, she was just trying to get personal training." I said, "But you do realize why she was asking you, right?" And he just like you. "I mean, I was just trying to get my money,
He's
get
just
that
trying to
money."
secure the bag.
And I'm like, "Dude, listen."
That is funny, man. But for real, like, yo, especially when a guy, right? Just speaking for men, like, when men are committed. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
men are going to shut it down. They're going
yeah,
to shut it
yeah,
down. They're going to shut it
yeah.
down. Like, you're not going to have to guess or wonder if he believed that you're the one.
Mm-mm.
He is not. Now, however, you may have some insecurities, or he may have a challenge with expressing himself a certain way,
Yeah, yeah,
where there may still be some concern, like, what ifs or whatever the case. But in most cases, men is going to be very, very clear. Now, I don't want to make a blanket statement, because some situations are unique. So there may
mm-hmm.
need to be some clarity, right? So as
Yep,
much as I proved to Leah that she was the one, she still needed to know that I was vested, right?
yep,
Because we didn't
yep,
have the title, we didn't have the handle.
yep,
So that was important to her.
yep,
To me, that wasn't
yep.
important. I
Same for
thought
us.
I
Yeah,
was showing her rather
yeah,
than these titles. I thought I was showing her rather than anything else, but that wasn't enough, right? She's just
yeah.
like,
The
yo, I know.
title was important
No,
for
the
me.
title was
Yep,
important. So you may have those
yep.
situations, but at the end of the day, a man will make sure because us as men, we want to serve. As men, we want you to feel good. We want you to feel like we making you that you are our queens and you're the most important.
Yep,
So he will make sure that you feel that way. And if
yep.
he's not making you feel that way, like, you already know.
You
Like, you
already
already
know.
know. You already
You
know.
do. You do. It's and one thing that we do even now in our marriage, and I remember putting up a post about this some years ago, because I think people struggle with it, especially I think people in our community, is once you get married or get into a relationship and then you bring in kids, your spouse still should come before the kids.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
kid the kids can't come before the spouse. And
Absolutely.
women especially tend to put the kids first. And so
Absolutely.
when I put up that my husband came before my kids, it was like people was clutching their pearls. Like they
Yep.
couldn't even believe that I said it. But I'm like, it has to be this way. There
Absolutely.
has to be a certain order.
Absolutely.
And if me and him not good, that's a trickle down effect to them. So
Absolutely.
he comes before them kids
Absolutely.
all the time. Now, of course, the kids, we taking care of them, and those are our priorities. They ain't missing nothing. But let me tell you, my baby daddy come first,
Absolutely. If
and
he
I make that
doesn't,
known.
if he doesn't come first, you will have a man that is running around town in
Yep,
other people's beds.
yep,
If he's not
yep,
a priority, vice
yep,
versa, right? Vice versa,
yep,
or you don't have a strong marriage. You mean it's
yep.
important, or it's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of. You mean some people may agree. You
Because
mean
you
you could
become
comment.
resentful. You get resentful when you see that them
Absolutely,
kids is getting the attention more than you are. And
absolutely,
so, yeah, yeah, that's
absolutely. It's
real big time important in this house.
Yeah, it was important. I mean, and the crazy thing that you bring it up is that our intense fellowship. Guess what? It was over one of our children,
Hmm.
and
Usually,
we
that's what ours are
yeah,
about.
and then we had to
Believe it
come
or
back
not.
and like, yo, you know what? We had this intense fellowship over somebody else, and
Yep,
they are the problem, and we
that's
having
right.
this. You mean
And they know it too. I'm telling you, they
that's for real?
know it.
That's for
They
real.
know it.
That's for real.
But
That's
a
for
lot of
real.
the button heads come from just a disagreement on how a situation was handled with one of them.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
and that's real, man. We had a real good conversation about that, and maybe that's something that we talk about in the future. You know what I mean? Like, how do you correct your child, right? Because she
Hmm.
felt that I was correcting her parenting in front of, I was challenging her parenting in front of one of my children,
Okay.
right? And so I know that causes in many marriages a challenge.
Oh yeah.
However,
Oh yeah.
I was oblivious to it. I
Yeah.
thought I was helping. I
Right.
thought the
Right.
child was out of earshot, but from her perspective, it wasn't, and she
Yeah.
didn't see it that way,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
after we
Yep.
came back and talked about it, I'm like, yo, that was not my intent,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so when we don't deal with the intent, when we don't deal with,
Yep.
like
Yep.
whatever the issue is, then that boy
Yep.
can linger. And that's what I love is that, my wife in particular, she loves to like, all right, we need to talk about this. And I had to grow to the place to where we talk about it. My thing is
That's
I'm shutting
me.
down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I'm
me.
shutting
I'm
down.
I'm like a agree to disagree. Like,
Yep.
look,
Yep.
you think how you think, and I
Yep.
think how I think, and let's just agree to disagree and keep it going. And Virgil
Yep.
be like, nah, nah, dog, we gonna
See,
sit down
see,
and let's
that's
talk
me.
and
I'm
talk and talk.
agree. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
agree to disagree, and I'm like, yo, it is what it is. She
Virgil
like,
ain't
no,
having it.
Leah, man,
Yeah,
Leah, like,
Virgil ain't
nah,
having
we
it.
we need to talk about this boy, and I'm
Yep,
like,
yep.
I don't want to talk about
I don't,
it.
I don't be wanting to talk. I just be like, look, it is what it is. You think how you think, I think how I think. Let's just keep it moving. Nah,
Absolutely,
he not buying that. He's not buying
absolutely.
that.
That's man, that's funny. That's funny. So Taj,
Yeah.
man, what is our he said she said segment? I always love this part
I do
of
too.
it. So,
I do
so you
too,
know
because
what?
I
So
be need
before
to
you even let me
understand
say,
y'all.
let me say this before you even say that. Let's give that closing, portion of because some people are saying, all right, they want to make sure that they understand how to know that somebody else is the one, right? Their
Okay.
significant
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So you tell them like what are some things that you want to give them to help them in this process to know that whoever they are with is the one.
I will say one big huge thing is you should never ever have to convince a man to see that you are worthy. Like
I'm gonna
he
do this one
already
different.
know
No,
it.
no, no. Let's pause this. Let's do this one
Okay.
different. Won't
What?
you speak
What?
to the men? Speak to the
Oh.
men.
Oh. Oh.
Speak to the men. So when we talking about knowing that she's the one, how does
Yeah.
he know that she's the one?
So how does the man know? Well, I will say I don't really know how y'all know, but if you feel like she is, look, if you feeling her like that, it's 100 other men who are. So you better make sure she know it so that she don't go off to somebody else who's showing her the attention that you not showing her.
Ooh.
So if you
Ooh.
think she the one, you better make sure she knows she the one.
Ooh. Did you just go there? Did you just go there? Did you really go there?
Look,
Did
if
you
you like it, then you should have already gone.
you
Look,
just really went
you better
there.
do something, shoot. So
You just
yeah.
see, you know, I'm gonna let you get that. I'm gonna let you get that. Fellas, I'm not
I
gonna
mean,
go
you
in.
asked.
I know I asked, so I'm gonna let you get that. I'm not gonna even speak to the women like that, but you all right, all right. So ladies, how do you know that he's the one? He will make you feel like you are the most important person in the world. He will he will make
Yes.
you feel like a priority
Hmm.
and not an option, right? His actions or his words will align with his actions, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Also, that he will be transparent. You know what I mean? That he will be transparent and he will be, and I'm not even talking about, you know, because he may have flaws, right? So I'm not trying to tell you Mr. Perfect to where he's gonna arrive here on time, you know, because he may still have
Right.
you
Right.
know those challenges. But I'm talking about at the core, he is going to make sure you feel like you are the most important person in the
Yep.
world, and
Yep.
he's going to
Yep.
be committed, and
Yep.
he doesn't even have to have a locked phone, right? Because he
Yeah.
doesn't have
Yeah.
anything to hide. Now I'm not saying that
Yep.
he doesn't lock his phone. Just because he
Right.
lock his phone,
Don't
right?
mean
You
he
know,
doing
don't
something.
mean he's doing something.
Yeah.
My wife, get it, wife, WIFE. My wife has the
Hmm.
face recognition and she knows the passcode to my phone.
Yep.
Some people don't do it. I know that's a whole nother conversation because some
Yeah.
people are cringing. Like, I understand me and my husband, we are in love with my wife. She'd never get. I get
Nah.
it. I'm not
Nah.
tripping.
Yeah, that's yours, but I got Virgil's passcode and
Yo,
he got
I'm just
mine.
saying, and I'm
So,
not
and
saying
that's
it's right
yeah.
or wrong.
Right. Right.
And I'm not saying this is how you know that you're committed. I'm
Right.
just
Right.
saying that, you know, that's one of the things that my wife and I, we do have each other passcode. So if I put
Yeah.
her phone up, if it's not working, I need to know why that boy ain't working no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, but real talk. But that's how you would know. Like he would be committed. I'm not talking about the passcode,
Yeah.
but he will make sure you feel like you're the most important person in the
I,
world, and he will be
yep.
committed to whatever
Yep.
that process is. And you know,
Yep.
pay attention how he treat his mom. Pay attention how he treat
Oh my gosh.
his
Yes.
siblings. Pay attention how
Yes.
he talk about other people who go through
Yep.
challenges. Like
Yes.
what is his talk about other people? Like how
Yep.
does he interact or treat people? Like especially if your values, if something is important to you, listen to how he talk about other people and situations or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah.
core him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the core
Yep.
him.
Yep. Yep.
That's the core
Yep.
him. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So he can say one
Absolutely.
thing, but listen to those little things. Look at those little things that he does, and pay attention how he treat his children. If he a baby
Yep.
daddy, you need to look and see how he talk about his child's mom.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, that's so important.
So I'll pause there. I know I said a whole lot right there.
I know, but I got to add to the to
Go
guys.
ahead.
One thing that I think men should pay attention to is, um, and not that women don't bring in, because we all bring in our baggage, but pay attention to your woman's ability to forgive you for the things that you have done because of the baggage you bringing in.
Mm.
Um, every time you guys are getting into a intense fellowship, how her ability to move forward, communicate, and forgive.
That's
You
good.
know, and we talked about holding these, you know, these mental notes in the back of our head, and this, I think it is something that women do. However, it's not something that is brought up constantly. Like, once I forgive you, I'm not gonna keep throwing it in your face. So
Good.
that's another important thing. Her ability to forgive you, her ability to try to understand where you coming from,
That's good.
and yeah, and give grace.
You know
women,
what?
to give grace.
Man, Tasha, I think we on one, man. We touching on so many topics tonight, but I just want to put on my fatherhood hat for a second, just to overall, and I'll ask you this question, but I really think it's important for both, for men and women, to find out what is the relationship like with that person and their father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was the father
Mm-hmm.
involved? Is the father
Mm-hmm.
involved? Like, what are they feelings surrounding that? Did they
Yep.
reconcile that? Because, there's a lot of statistics about the absence of a father. There's statistics about the absence of a mom, but boy, there
The
are
absence of
far more traumatic and detrimental, things that take place in the lives of people when the father is absent. So if
yeah.
she does not have a father that's present or was present, you need to have a conversation about that, like to see
Mm-hmm.
where she is. Did she reconcile with that? Is she
Mm-hmm.
healed surrounding that? Is he
Mm-hmm.
healed surrounding that?
Mm-hmm.
What is his perspective? How does he want to parent? How does he want to lead?
Yes.
Was he exposed to loving women the right way? Who was his
Oh man.
mentors? Who was his surrounding
You
the
on a
father
roll,
is
God.
so important. Mom is key, right? Mom is most of the time always there. But you
Mm-hmm.
need to have that conversation or watch what takes place surrounding the father. That's
Yep.
key. It's
Yep.
key.
I'm living proof because mine wasn't around, and I had no clue of the damage that it had caused until I got into this relationship.
Wow.
It all came up,
Wow.
all of it. It
Wow.
all came up. So that's so. I mean, you touched on a bunch. Yeah,
because
definitely
because my
important.
father was there, but he wasn't involved. That's why involved
Yep.
dad. That's why involved dad was created. That's why
Mhm.
I named it involved dad, right? Because any of us can be a father or dad, whatever the
Oh
case,
yeah.
because we
Yeah.
can impregnate a woman to bring forth child. But
Mhm.
not all
Mhm.
of us can be an involved dad. That's
Yep.
being
Yep.
involved,
Yep.
right? And that's
Yep.
why I use that term. And I tell you, I brought that to our relationship because I didn't
Yeah.
want to bring commitment to Leah because my mom and dad lived together for years without getting married. So I thought that
Okay.
was the way. I never
Yeah.
saw them be intimate. So I
Okay.
brought that. My
Yep.
dad told me when I was leaving to go to Michigan State, he said, "Yo, have as much sex as you can while you're there for those years because you'll never get them back." And he told me to bring home a white woman.
Oh,
That was his
bring home one. Oh,
that was his
wow.
that was his rites of passage to me. So that helped shape. So I brought
Yeah.
that into my relationship with other
Yeah.
women. And
Yeah.
and some of the women I'm still friends with on social media or whatever the case,
Yeah.
and they know who the man who I am today, but who I was back then, like yo, it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was because of what I was exposed to, what I was
Right.
encouraged to do, what I was taught to do. I did what I was taught.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I got new information, I'm like, yo, I feel so bad. You know what I mean, I wasn't a demon. You know what I mean, I'm saying that. You know what
No.
I mean,
No.
but my thing was I had a commitment issue, right? I knew
Yeah.
how to play the game to make them feel like they were extremely important, and I knew I wasn't going to be committed because I was taught how to manipulate.
And we need more men that how you were able to see those things. There are still men our age who can't even see that stuff in themselves. And so it's like, how do you reveal who you really are and what you how you are tainting the relationships you're in?
And we're gonna talk about that on our next podcast because that's a whole
Woo!
nother monkey. That's a
You,
whole nother. They can't
you
get the
ain't
two for
lying.
one. They can't get the two for
Right,
one
right.
tonight.
Yep. So if you want to know, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. So we got to talk about, before we get out of here real quick, we got to know that he said, she said. So what is the segment this week? What does he mean? What does she mean? Talk to me.
Y'all be making my head hurt, Sean. So I need to know this, okay? And this is a serious question, and I'm trying to word this in a nice
You trying to
way.
set me up. Verge, help me out, bro. Call me. Call me. Give me some context, Verge. Give me some context. Give me some context.
Because this is straight about him. Usually I'm telling you what my friend said and on a Facebook post. No, this is about Virgil Perry tonight. So when y'all say y'all don't know what we mean, like, are y'all really? How do y'all not know what we mean? Like, do you really not understand what we're saying? Like, there's some things I feel like I shouldn't have to tell Virgil. He should just know. And in his mind, he like, why don't you just tell me? And I'm like, why don't you just know? So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
when y'all say y'all
honestly.
don't know, do y'all really not know?
Honestly, and it's we, this is the thing, is that we know, but we don't know, because the thing about it is that no matter what we choose, we feel like we gonna get our hand popped.
Oh, that's what he say too. I feel like I can't do nothing right. Oh, whatever. Don't.
Right.
How do y'all not?
But this is the thing, it's easier when you just say what you mean, just come flat out, right? Because listen, I don't care how long you've been together. You said you've been with him for 17 years, right?
You
I
know,
mean,
that's what I
no,
was
no,
getting
since y'all been
since
what,
I was
14?
17.
Since you were
Nope, I was
17.
I was 16. He was 17.
So
Yep.
y'all been together that long, but remember what you said, and we both said we still growing. After all of these years, we still are growing to learn what the heck y'all talk about. We are still, because we know, and we have had experiences when our hands was popped, when we did
Yeah.
take a risk, and it's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I just chill. Tell me what you want. You know what I mean? Nope. Tell me what you want. And I'm gonna stay right here. Because as long as I don't know what you mean, I can't get in trouble. So you can get frustrated all you want, but I'm telling you, I'm not moving until I get clarity. I need clarity,
So
and I
you
need to,
saying this is on us that we need to
absolutely,
just say
say it.
exactly.
Say it.
If
And
I tell you my back is hurting and
mhm.
I sit down next to you, why do I have to? I don't want to say rub my back. This is a great example. I don't want to say rub my back. I want you to say she said her back was hurting. She sat down. Let me rub her back without me saying, "Hey, rub my back for me." I don't want to say that.
Okay.
Don't you know?
Okay. I got you. I got you. All right. You say that, right?
Hmm.
Did you take an account of what type of day he had? Where's his mental space? What did he go through? Right? So if he's in tune, if he's not under pressure, if he's not stressed, if he's not focusing on something else, those cues, he's not even thinking about them, because he's thinking about solving a problem over here.
Okay, that's fair. I
Right?
guess.
Because he's thinking about solving a
Yeah.
problem over here. So in that moment, we may say, hey, we got to, you may have to break up his intense, being intentional and focus on whatever he's focused on. Like, hey, let's break that up for a second. Let's focus on us. Right? Let's
Okay.
just break that. Let's break that. Hey, let's wheel it in. Don't worry about that. That's gonna be there tomorrow. That's gonna be there an hour from now. Let's
Mhm.
focus on each
Mhm.
other. You know what, Virgil, baby, my back hurt. And guess what? He would know what you mean. But if he's
Yeah.
focused on something else at that moment, he's not thinking about that. Or or
Okay, I can see
or
that.
he know what you mean, but he's still so focused on that. He's like, yo, this is not the time or the
Distracted.
place. And so what he needs you to do is help him or give him permission. Hey, let's not worry about that right now. I need you. Don't worry about that. I
Mhm.
support you. I trust you that you will be able to do A, B, C, and D. Let's not worry about that. My back hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
I think women we get frustrated because we can read y'all cues and do things without y'all telling us, and so we want it vice versa. You know what I mean? And
No, but we read your no. What I'm saying is we read your cues, but it's hard for us to disengage. It's almost like
okay,
a
okay,
it's
okay.
almost like a pit bull, right? Is when he
Yeah,
locked
yeah,
on something,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard for
yeah.
because
I can
he's
see that.
locked on it. It's like, yo,
Yep.
I'm not disengaging until I solve this. So you have to give him permission to say, hey, baby, you can disengage.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
so because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, you mean like, yo, I can only eat what I kill. So I'm on
Right,
go
right.
mode. I'm on go mode. So if Leah was to say, hey babe, I know you want to provide for us. I know you want to do A, B, C, and D. You know what? I trust you. I know you could bring home the bacon. I know you could execute. You're doing a great job. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
You know what? Let's take a pause. I trust
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I know you're gonna make this happen. Let's work on us right now. Let's spend some me time. That now give me permission, like, oh, my baby with
To
me.
put that down,
I
and
can
she
put it
need me.
down.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
She in
yeah,
the trenches with me. So when you're
yeah.
saying your back hurt, know what's going on. Is he engaged with you? Like no pressures, no nothing. Is all, or
Yeah.
is he over there? If he's over there, boom, you gotta
But
approach
what's
it.
funny, what you're saying is sound like him. He says sometimes I do things. He said I'll be all into the game, and I swear you be setting me up, come sit next to me, and you know I'm watching the game. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not my intention.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so yeah,
Especially
yeah,
and so just say like if it's an important game like Michigan State is on, Leah already know if MSU is on. Now if it's basketball, I don't trip, but if it's football, she already know,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it's just
yeah.
like, you know what, we ain't gonna even set each other up for
I know that's right, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
that.
okay, maybe I'm setting them up a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like, yo, why
If
you gonna make me choose? It's like, yo, I'm gonna choose you, but you don't want me to choose you, and then what I'm doing,
yeah,
I'm resenting
yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
Because what
yeah, yeah.
you want my full attention.
Right,
So
right,
just
right.
like, hey, babe, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna watch the game with you. When it's over, I'm gonna let you watch this game. You know I can mess with you right now. You know I can
Yeah,
mess with you. But
but
when
I'm
this game,
not. I'm gonna
but
let you
I'm
enjoy
not.
your game.
But when this game is over, this is what I need. Oh, he like,
Hmm.
oh, my baby gonna let me watch this. Oh, it's on and popping.
Yeah.
It's on and popping.
Okay. Okay. I give
Mm.
you that.
Let's go,
I
Verge.
give.
You don't
I
even have
give
to
you
hit
that.
me up, baby.
I give you that one today.
Awesome,
Whatever.
man. No, this is good, Taj.
It
This is
was.
good.
Yep.
This is good. This is good. Cool,
Yep.
man. So listen, guys, we love doing what we do. We love rocking out with you guys. We love that you guys are rocking with us. So listen, go and subscribe to all of our platforms where we are on. We are on iTunes and Spotify. You name it, we are there. Go to our YouTube
Yep.
channel, subscribe there, like it, follow it, grow with us.
Come
Because
on,
this is
grow
what we
with
want to
us.
do. Yeah, grow
Yep.
with us, man. Grow with us. So,
And I got to give a special shout out to Christina because she is always calling me like, I heard the last episode. I love it, y'all. Y'all doing great. You and Sean chemistry. So shout out to Christina for rocking with us,
what up,
and she's
Christina?
loving what we do. We love you, Christina. Thank you,
Yes, we
girl.
love you. We love you, Christina. That's what's up. What's up? What's up? So, yeah, man, until next time, man. We see you next week, man.
All right.